Um, I was just following what you told me before, being more aggressive with the grenades, throwing them early, throwing them often.
Yep.
And then so I got my support back in the diamond, and then I went back to tank and I dropped the plat like high plat, and then I went back to support and I realized, oh, I probably should have done that. And now I have to relearn all the stuff I was learning because I went on a massive losing streak, but
Uh,
it
okay.
was okay.
All right. Well, I'm glad that the Ana part is doing well. What are we going to be looking at today? More support or tank?
I can do either. Which one would you like to do? I
I'm
have a
totally
loss on
flexible.
Zarya I'm kind of confused by.
Yeah, we could look at really whatever you want. Like, let's put it this way: what are you going to play the next 2 or 3 weeks more of? What would you like to play more of? And then we'll focus on that.
I'll probably play more Zarya.
All right, let's look at Zarya then. I
Okay.
like Zarya.
I'll
Zarya's one
type
of
it
my.
in the chat here.
Let's do it. Any questions from a lot of the training stuff from Ana? Like, has anything come up since you've been practicing?
Um, Not particularly. Just trying to find the opportunities when and where to get more aggressive.
Good,
So
good.
I
Well,
was good.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was playing earlier today, just trying to get back into the groove, and I noticed how passive I've gotten, and it's made my aim even worse than it was before.
Yeah, I mean that's how it goes because if you think about it, to build those habits, you had to consciously focus on them, right? And then
Yeah.
you kind of slip back into some of the old habits. Like it takes a long time to kind of develop things to where they become automatic. But regardless, even just hitting diamond is like a remarkable improvement. So really, really well done. What? So you think it was mostly just the aggression, like you trying to be a little bit more proactive?
Yeah, being in the game. I mean,
Good.
you sit there and heal bot and you're not really doing much of anything. You might as well play
Yeah.
like Light Weaver or something like that,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
more. So, adding something else, adding that other dimension, like just making sure that there's pressure. Like we talked about pressure in the back
Yeah.
line, pressure, and just that helped out so much.
Yeah, I'm looking at your notes here. I actually made a really goofy error. So I linked a Google Calendar when I meant to link the post coaching checklist. So I'll
Mhm.
drop it in here. That was supposed to be sent to you. I'm my mistake. I must have copied the wrong link.
Oh,
But you can check that out after our session today. That's hilarious. I'm like, why is there a Google Calendar link? I must have copied the wrong thing. So okay. Anyway, Zarya. Why Zarya? What do you enjoy about Zarya? What are some questions or concerns or problems you've been having with Zarya?
what I like about Zarya is the amount of damage you can do
Mm-hmm.
and the utilities that the bubble has. Like there's so much you can do with a bubble. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
can block damage, you can save your teammates, you can gain energy for yourself. It's like so versatile to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what I am having trouble with is there are some games where I feel like I put a lot of damage in, I can get a lot of eliminations and still
Yes.
not get the win.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That's a tank problem. And what I find to be the most common issue when that happens is that you're a bit of a resource hog.
Mm.
Like you're the biggest target, you're the most lethal, you're the most threatening. But you look at the situation here, and what if your Ana has to dump healing into you, or the area has to dump healing into you, or dump nades, or pylon onto you for most of the game? You
Hmm.
might do a lot of damage, but obviously, as being also an Ana player, you would know that I would love for my tank to take space, but I love for my tank to not be taking damage 24/7 all the time,
Yeah.
so that I can still get some pressure out. So that might be something to keep a look at. Another thing as well is like what you're damaging, like how much pressure. Zarya has a little bit of more of a limit than Ana in terms of effective range, right? You can lob
Mhm.
right clicks across the map, and you should be, but certainly not as accurate and consistent in applying pressure as an Ana. So you might be dumping a lot of damage into the enemy tank, which is fine, but then missing opportunities to put meaningful damage onto a squishy because they're a little bit harder to track down. So we'll take a look at that as well. So, from your experience with Zarya, what are some things that you've been maybe practicing or trying to do well or trying to mimic from other Zarya players that you've watched? Anything come up to mind?
Making sure you hit ammo management and hitting the grenades.
Yes. Now, when we say ammo management, what does that mean?
Um, Beaming when there's a target in front of you and not wasting it, and then also ejecting grenades in between,
Mm,
like beam grenades, to maximize that energy pool you have.
Let me tell you exactly how that's done. Now, there may be a few details here that I'll get 0.01% wrong. but this is going to give you some guidelines, all right? The highest DPS that you can squeeze out of a Zarya is using your right click front-loaded, so you're front-loading damage, and then as the right click travels, because the animation is very quick, you start beaming.
Okay.
Like so. Now, if you want to greed that even more and get the burst even faster on a squishier target, you'll go right-click, beam, right-click. And see, I mismanaged it there. I misjudged by just a tiny bit there. But that's technically the fastest way to secure a kill most of the time if you can land those right-clicks. So if we do it on a 250 HP target, it's going to look like this. Right-click, beam, right-click.
Okay.
Now, you might notice something is that there's a delay between beam and right-click. You notice that?
Mm-hmm.
So I only want to right-click in 2 or 3 circumstances. One, when the target is low, and I know I won't have to shoot anymore after the right-click. Because if I do this here, and she doesn't die, that delay before I beam again is really bad. That lowers my DPS. You get what I'm saying? Okay. So right-click as a finisher is really important.
Okay.
The other time in which I would right-click, even if it's not finishing, is if I could do this. Hit 2 people, right?
Got it.
Area of effect. And the last reason to right-click, and this is regardless of the HP that they're at, is to be ammo efficient. So you're probably aware of this, but like let's just demonstrate it, right? Look at my ammo, 40, 30, 20, 10, all the way down to 2. I get a full right-click out.
Yeah.
Even with only 2 ammo, right? So regardless of whether that target is low or not, if I'm low on ammo and I really want to maximize my damage, squeeze out that, right?
Yeah. It consumes what, 25, if I remember?
Normally 25, yes, but if there's only 2 ammo left, it will only consume 2, right?
Yeah.
So it's perfect, but yes, exactly 25. So I think that's the important thing with Zarya, and I think the key thing is that a lot of people know these things, but a lot of people get overwhelmed with how to implement them. And anytime that you have something like this mechanically complicated, you need to break it down into its pieces. For example, one of the things I encourage a lot of low-rank Zaryas, mid-rank Zaryas, even high-rank Zaryas to practice is ending their ammo with a right-click. You need to get in the habit of, whether you're beaming or right-clicking or whatever you're doing, finish that clip with a right-click, right? Don't do what I just did there. Finish it. I try to judge it a little too close. Wait for it. Bam. Right there. You need to get in the habit of doing that automatically. And what I'll do here is I'll turn up the audio. Listen carefully. You hear that? See that sound cue?
The warbling at the end. It's like a where it's gonna end.
It's like a warble, right? And what happens is the more that you practice, the more you get better at not even paying attention to it, but reacting. You don't even notice it. You just do it, right? But that takes a lot of conscious practice. That's a great way to do things. Another great way to do things is to practice opening with a right click when you're closing in on a squishy. So if I'm trying to reach the squishy, I open with a right click and I reach that. I try to practice that, right? Another thing that you could do, the third thing that we said, is looking for area of effect opportunities. People that are grouped up, all right, I'm going to try and recognize that and plant that right click right between them, right? Practice that. So whenever there's anything mechanical with Zarya, and there's a lot of things mechanical, practice one of them. You don't need to do all these at the same time. Practice finishing with a right click, practice opening with a right click, and then also practice using the right click in area of effect situations. That's what you need to be doing. And it's not really up to you which one you want to practice first. It's really no problem. But you can go into a game, a ranked game, and not even worry about your positioning, not even worry about your grabs or anything else. Just worry about your mechanics. I think that's actually totally fine. Okay, does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, let's pull up this code again. So, like you said, doing damage, all the ammo conservation, playing around your ammo, putting out constant and consistent pressure, and then like on a grenade, bubble is a cooldown that you can use to save somebody. But you can also use to put out pressure. And putting out pressure is what oftentimes can indirectly save people. Like, for example, if you walk right now and do a lot of damage, that will help protect your backline, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you might need the bubble to do that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So basically, with Zarya, you always have to decide, do I want to help somebody do damage, like this Junkrat right here so it doesn't die? Or do I want to help myself do damage? And usually the answer is the latter. It's usually helping yourself. It's more consistent. But if I see this here, you need to bubble that. You need to bubble that. Good swap for the Reaper there. Really good swap. Yeah, very nice. So if we want to look at this from a mechanical standpoint, let's slow it down a little bit. Shoot beam. Shoot beam, shoot beam, shoot beam, shoot beam, shoot beam. You're almost out of ammo. What should you do right here?
Grenade.
Grenade. You got it. Reload. Beam. Even here, open with a right click, right? Open with a right click into the beam, right?
I think my habit's the opposite. I think I open with the beam and then hit the right click.
Right, because what you're doing is it's like the beaming is like almost you acquiring the target. You get what I'm saying? And then then you're confident lining up your right click. But the problem is that acquiring your target and then adjusting your crosshair so that you will accurately right click, like maybe aiming closer to their feet, you're going to have to reacquire them anyway, right? It's just something that you have to get in the practice of doing. Now, there are some circumstances when it's inappropriate, like you got a Genji double jumping over your head. Don't try to right click them out of the air. Just beam them, you know? But again, like those nuances you can practice like anything else. Again, right here, right click, right? Open with that right click. And then once you're in close range, you'll be able to finish them off, so. One other thing, and this is the most important skill that you can work on with Zarya besides like just basic positioning, is do not preemptively bubble unless there's crowd control, is essentially the rule.
Yeah.
You're expecting this EDRE to shoot you, but you know what? You don't care. What's the worst thing that can happen if she shoots you?
Takes away a few shields.
It takes away a little bit of shields, right? She just doesn't do that much damage to you. And you look at this here, and you're expecting damage, but from such a low damage source that then you've wasted a bubble. And now you really can't push forward anymore. Why?
Yeah. Yep. No bubble to get out.
No bubble to get out. No bubble to get in. Right? There's just you've lost your tool here. So I would prefer you. It's okay to take damage, Zarya. You take damage. You respond to the damage that you're taking with bubble, and then you allow your team to heal up under it. And in fact, people get bloodthirsty. You let them taste your blood. Not to be gross here, but like let them feel like they're hurting you, and you will be able to take space more effectively and build charge more effectively. Take space, then bubble. That's kind of the rule of Zarya most of the time. But yeah, good stuff in terms of like walking forward, taking space for your team. I love the swap from the Doomfist to the Reaper. That was an excellent target swap. Most people wouldn't be smart enough to do that. You see how you're kind of doing it again here, right? You're taking, you're bubbling in anticipation of damage, but you haven't actually taken any damage yet. Like I want that Junkrat mine to be in the air traveling towards you. Right?
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, you could look back at that fight as well and look at the mechanics too. What would you say here?
Didn't open with a right click.
Open with a right click, right?
And
then beam.
Bubble premature.
Yeah,
That
and
pulls
then
me back.
Right, and then as you're exiting beam range here, even as well, right? Like even though you're not necessarily low on ammo, just drop out that right click because he's just outside of beam range now. So just start to lob that right click, right? So there's all sorts of little things that you can squeeze out. We don't expect you to do all of them. I don't expect even hiring Zarya to do all of them. But it's a huge skill curve with this character, right? All right. This one was better. There are obvious exceptions to the rule. Watch what you do here. You are on this Junkrat, and then you bubble, right? I don't hate that. I mean, I think that there's a pretty high chance that you can take a lot of damage there, and look at your bubble charge. You see it? You did take a lot of damage, right? So let's put it this way. There's obviously nuance to the rule, but as long as you're confidently taking space and then bubbling, even before you take damage, I'm okay with it. Good. Let's pop some right clicks here, and this is where I want you to be really accurate with what you're doing here. I mean, that's obviously, yeah, that's unfortunate.
I forgot I did that.
That's good though. That's good though. You're doing well. Yeah, ruined this guy's career. Even here, it's not bad, but I think you could have greeted this bubble a little bit more. This tracer hasn't really done any serious damage to you. So just be like chilling here and then save the bubble and then do the bubble now, right? And get in his face, right? But then you'll have that second bubble, right? So that's good. Good job creating space there. That was really nice. Ooh, okay, I want to see this. I can tell that you're locked into the grenades here. Now the funny thing here is if we were to nitpick your mechanics here, it wouldn't be opening with grenade because you do it, right? What would it be instead?
There, probably should beam down that tracer. I think she's
Yeah,
trapped.
yeah. You have cover here. You have full HP. I don't see any reason that you should be ducking behind cover. I appreciate that you're near cover, just in case you get low. That is great positioning. But you don't need to be ducking behind cover. A lot of Zaryas do this. No, damage. Damage. Hold the corner and do no more damage. You're fine. You have all the HP that you need. So exactly, open with a right click, then beam. And then here again, right click, then beam. You see it? You're missing damage. And not only that, but you reload as well with 44 ammo. More damage. More damage. As long as there's somebody to shoot, nice right click. As long as there's somebody to shoot, keep damaging. Same thing there. I think it could have taken space and then bubbled. But yeah, this is okay. Use those right clicks on that corner. Good grab. You know what you need to do? You need to grab her like out the sky, right?
Yeah, I should grab her.
I'm kind of joking. It's just gonna go flying out the window and totally whiff, and then we're all gonna feel bad. That's okay. Good grab. This is kind of closer to what we want you to do mechanically. Watch what you do. Grab, right click to open because AoE. But then you're like, I really want to make sure that I kill that ELR. So you go from that right click into the beam. Now you could spam right clicks into grab because you might get big fat AoEs, but if you really want to focus down on one target, this is the way to do it, right? You did good. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, you kind of did it there. I mean, it was like goofy in the execution, but look at it's open with right click, beam, finish with a right click.
Yeah.
That's all right. All right, let's keep going here. Any questions so far?
No. Good.
Okay. The biggest challenge with Zarya, which thankfully you haven't had too much of here, are maps where you can't reach anybody. And that's where you got to be really creative with your positioning and your cover usage and finding ways to close the distance because, you know, even with right clicks, right, like it's hard to reach a Pharah, it's hard to reach a Widow, it's hard to reach a Hanzo, right? It's hard to reach high ground, so that's going to be your biggest challenge. Launching right clicks, okay. Now this is going to be really important. I'm going to need you to walk forward, do damage, then bubble. Not bubble, then walk forward, then do damage, right? Really important here. Because it's going to extend your ability to do damage. Let's look carefully at the timing here. You actually, you coach yourself here. You tell me what you think of this.
I saw the target. Did I bubble this? Yeah. And I probably didn't need to because the Junkrat wasn't in my line of sight. I probably could have waited.
Are you taking significant damage, though? That's the
No.
question. Yeah, it's close for me. It's close. You are in people's face, and you have taken damage. I don't think this is a bad bubble. I think you're right. I think you could maybe greed it like another half a second, you know? Just see how much damage that EDRE does in your... But I actually think that, you know, if you bubbled now, I'd be upset, right? You didn't, though. You walked. And you walked into your squishy, and then you bubbled. So you know what? It's okay. It's okay. This is good. I think the only problem here is that you don't have enough confidence in your mechanics, and you should. Because what do you see here? You have a bubble. You have another bubble, and you're nanoed. Who should you be shooting right now? Kind of a rhetorical question here, you know? But it's not...
I was after the Yalari.
Yeah, right. Anybody, honestly. Like Cassidy here, Yari, right, Mercy. It doesn't really matter here, but like you've got damage here. Like you're nano boosted. You have the equivalent of like a pretty high charge now. Let's go. Let's go. Use that. Right? But you kind of get scared and you're like, oh, you know, I don't want to waste the nano, so let me just shoot this guy. But the problem is that you're not going to kill that guy. Right? And all that for such a waste, you know? Oh my days. I've never seen that before. That's crazy. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
You might not do as much damage shooting a squishy, but you'll get a kill. You'll force the cooldowns. And ironically there, you would have forced the shift there from the EDRE that ended up killing you. Like if you focused on the EDRE, you might have not been moved off the map. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So a little bit of charge before the fight, that's fine, as long as you have 2 bubbles for when the fight starts, so that you can effectively do damage. That's kind of the rule here. Not bad, not bad. Were you proactively doing damage and taking space with this bubble?
I was allowing the backline to be able to take care of Doomfist.
Sure.
So, yeah, I would say, yeah, I at least allowed my backline to deal with the
Well,
threat.
right. The answer is just you did something and then you bubbled. Like look at it from a third person perspective from this EVRE, right? You don't bubble immediately. You walk, you get shot, and then you bubble, right? That's okay. That's good. Swap to the Mei. It's just I don't like this bubble. It's the second bubble that I don't like because how safe are you right now? Look at your HP. Look at your positioning. You see it?
Yeah, I'm real safe. Yep.
You're real safe.
He's not doing
So then
anything.
just shoot behind cover, and then I want you to walk forward again, and then bubble on this Mei. You understand what I'm saying?
I got you.
So you're bubbling, then pushing, but this should be a push, then bubble like now, and then you're really up in there. You're gonna kill this guy, right? You're gonna kill this guy, or you're gonna kill her, right? Yeah. It's just it's a minutia, but it's a very important one. Yeah, I think like that, like we'll focus on that. There's a couple other details here as well. Like I think we could again look at this from a mechanical perspective, but I think you're actually pretty smart enough to do that on your own. I'd like to focus on what new things we can talk about there. And I think starting that fight off, and you can see it again here, walk forward with bubble before you even know what's going on. So right here, I know you know the Cassie's there. You get a little healing, but then you bubble and then walk. It's not good. It's not good. It's something to consider when there's like a sleep dart to worry about, or obviously if there's like a rip tire or something that's gonna one-shot you. But you really got to be careful about these too early bubbles. Like even this was better because in theory at least you're walking and then bubbling, right? The only unfortunate thing there is I think I would have been okay with you holding the corner and walking aggressively, maybe to trade backline there, but yeah. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. Keep it simple. I think mechanical things we can work on. I think obviously taking space, then bubbly, taking space, then bubbling, taking space, then bubbling, managing your HP, and then trusting your mechanics to kill squishies. Zarya is very good at melting tanks, but she's very good at melting squishies if she can reach them. If she can't reach them, murder the tank. It's totally fine. If you can, you need to murder squishies. That's the way to go.
Got it.
Okay. Let's keep going here. Good. I like the swap here. You can be a little patient here. Remember, your range with Zarya is pretty good, at least in terms to a Reinhardt, right? So you can kind of stand here and just beam. And if they push you, you bubble. If they don't push you, you just keep doing damage, right? But you bubble to try and get some damage on the Genji Mercy. And honestly, I think that's okay. I really think it's okay.
Yeah, I was feeling the pressure with the Reinhardt, so
Yeah. And also notice that you actually took space, took a little bit of damage, and then bubbled, right? You see that? So the Rein's like, oh, the Zarya's overextended, and you're like, no, I'm not. And so check out how much charge this bubble gets you. 45 charge. And check out how much space this bubble gets you. Genji Mercy, totally hiding, totally out of the fight. You see this? That's a great bubble. Great bubble. If you're playing for charge, this is how you play for charge. You do good damage. You take good space with it. It's not just about finding the right projectiles to walk in front of. I mean, even this was okay. I think the only thing I would say there is don't get too tunnel in with Reinhardt here, because once these guys re-peek here, you see that purple, you see that Genji?
Yeah.
Flip right to him. Beam right into his face, right? Murder him. You see him, but you're a little late with it. That's okay. Look at your charge, look at your HP. Let's go back and do it again. Keep doing damage, keep doing damage, keep doing damage. Swap to the Genji. And this here is, again, appropriate, but I want to make sure that you're going for a target that you can actually reach. So, like, right now, you're walking to pressure and then bubbling because the Rein's going to swing on you, right? So, if you're going to do this, who do you need to be beaming? Who can you actually reach here?
Genji.
Genji or, right? You see it?
Yeah.
Any of these two targets here. And I think this is why I don't like this window. You just need to look at who I can reach and then choose accordingly. Because what you're doing in theory is fine. And you're going to get a lot of charge out of this bubble for sure. But also, I think you need to go for a target where it's going to be a lot more consistent damage. Nice, nice, great. Ice block there is huge. All right, keep pressuring, keep pressuring, keep pressuring. Beam, 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 beam. Again, close, but no cigar. When should you bubble this? You tell me when.
Right after I turn the corner.
Right after you turn the corner, that's it. Walk, take space, not so you bubbled now, but it shouldn't be here, right? It should be right now. right?
Yeah.
Even react to the Reinhardt. Like, take one swing and then bubble. You're going to get 45 charge, 100%. But yeah, again, like, this is pretty good. Like, you're doing a good job. It's just the timing's just a little bit... Ah, nice. Bubble when you're low. Good stuff. You're doing so much pressure right now. This is really good. I think you guys are even. I think you could keep fighting this here. Yeah, you guys are even. You could keep fighting this here. I don't think you need to back off. Good. Take push, then bubble. Push, then bubble. Yeah. So this is the bad news. This past fight, outside of some of the minor tweaks of the bubble, was a mechanics check, and you failed. And I want you to go back and coach yourself mechanically. Not your tracking, not your right-click accuracy necessarily, but all the ammo, the right-click versus beam, the target priority, all that kind of stuff, all right? So let's slow it down, and you tell me what you see.
Right now, I haven't used any grenades, but he had a shield there. So turn
Full
the corner
ammo.
should be...
What should be
Yeah,
here?
should be a grenade right here.
Why? 2 reasons.
2 targets together, and
Yes.
it's the first clip.
You got it. Perfect.
Maximum damage.
You got it. You got it. Exactly. You open with beam instead. Obviously, we've already known that that's a bad habit of yours, right? So it's not like we're visiting old ground here. But yeah, 100%. I think you get lost in who you're tracking too. You notice that?
I saw that. Yeah.
So like, I think once the Mei ice blocks, you kind of hesitate about who to go for. It's okay. Either target's fine. Okay, we'll slow it down again.
I should have been a grenade there.
Why?
Grenade here. Group together.
Yeah, right here. Yeah, you see it? You see it? You're not quite at 0 ammo yet, but this is a group, so that changes how you use it, right? Exactly. Then that is extremely hard to recognize in the moment, and it's going to take a lot of practice. But yeah. You see, what you're proving here is that you have the knowledge to be able to coach yourself, not in terms of positioning or cooldown wise, mechanics. You could actually coach high level Zarya mechanics, right? So, like, there you go. You just need to go in the game and practice these things. You need to give it attention, even if you're not perfect at it. Good stuff. Now, normally, we don't open with beam on Genji, right? But why would we open with grenade? Why would we open with grenade on Genji here?
Because he's right next to the Ilari. It's the first part of the clip.
Yep, and he's also on the floor, right? He's on the floor. Easy grenade.
Aiming nothing.
Yeah, a little bit. So this is where I think the way that you were approaching this fight, even your bubble usage wasn't perfect, but it was good enough to win. But mechanically, there were 2-3 kills maybe that were there if you were even slightly better mechanically. Slightly better, and you just didn't quite perform. It's not even like your tracking was off. I think it's the comfort with how this weapon works. That's what we're seeing. You get what I'm saying? Okay. Again here, open with right click. And that's mostly it. Okay. You do finish off the EDR. This is actually tradable if that Rhino extends. Oh no, they got the res. Okay. Good target swap there. So good right there. I cannot tell you how many Zaryas I know. What rank are you with Zarya?
I got my tank to diamond. Lost a few games, so I'm back in high plat.
Okay, so I cannot tell you how many high plat Zaryas I would know that would just lock on that Rhine shield. Especially once he was kind of low, they just log in. And they would miss this opportunity to force Wraith or even get the kill, right? Because even if you just force Wraith here, he puts him out of the fight. It puts him out of the fight. Actually, if you force Wraith, there's your graph target, right? And you don't even need it. You just destroy it. Beautiful. A little bit of the early bubble there. You hadn't taken any damage. You could grab this if you wanted to.
I think I was concerned about the Reinhardt just going into it and shielding, getting nothing out of it.
Right, but remember, look at the distance there, right?
Yeah.
She's dead. She's dead. You only need 1 second, if even that. She's dead.
Got it.
Because the problem is that now everyone's behind Rhine Shield. So it's like crud.
So I think I walked through it and just.
Yep. Oh dear. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. You knew the issue. It's totally fine. You don't need to beat it over the head. I even like the fact that you grab the Ryan and just straight up ignore him. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
I was like,
you know what? Yeah, I mean, it's not even a bad idea. Like, it's like, hey, we'll just tie him down so I can go clear up backline. All right, you know what? Okay, I can actually see the logic here. So you know what? I respect it. All right, we're good. Good. All right, mechanics. I'm gonna see a right-click opener on this corner. I don't know if you know Junk's behind you. Okay, yeah. You're good. Yeah, you're good. You're good. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So, in terms of mechanics here, this is where, again, you see that little corner there. I think it's worth lobbing a right-click, just because you might hit an AoE. Just like a little detail there. I mean, not a bad bubble, right? Why?
Right in the Reaper's face.
Yeah, the Reaper walks into you, tries to but you even take damage. He even shoots you once, and then he shoots you, excuse me, the second time, and then you're just like, nah, I'm not backing off, buddy. And he just gets melted. So, you know, it's not an accident that every bubble that you've done damage with is a bubble that gets you charge. That's how it works.
I don't think I was expecting this.
Yeah, but it's the same problem as the previous nano, remember? You lose all confidence in yourself mechanically. And ironically, you're even higher charge now than you were before. I mean, this is, what, I don't even know what the equivalent is, like 100, 120 charge. Like, you're overcharged now, right? So you could turn the corner here with that bubble, and she is cooked. The Shrine's going to try and pin you, whatever. You're fine. Maybe you were scared of Shatter. Maybe that was the play here. If so, I understand.
I was kind of worried about getting hit in the back.
Yeah, I understand if that's the case. It wasn't bad value. You did zone 3 people basically by yourself for a long time. Oh man, this is where Zarya feels so satisfying. You know, you just sit there and beam and beam and beam and beam. Good bubble. He was engaged. Obviously, he ends up not getting hit with the ultimate, which kind of sucks, but it's all right. It does. Again, the reason why I don't mind this bubble is he is fighting. You see this? He's in there, right? I don't think you actually noticed that, but he also wasted his Wraith as well. Oh, no, he didn't. I thought he did. But yeah, this is okay. You lose this fight, I think. Oh, wait, maybe I skipped too far ahead. Wait, what? Dang, okay. Ana with the clutch nade.
Oh,
in the pocket there. Again, remember, you got to watch those preemptive bubbles. I know you're worried about Riptide, but you can see it not there. You cannot pop this too early. Because now, ironically, you're vulnerable to Riptide. Nice. 10 HP in a dream? Maybe? Maybe? No way. No, you guys lose. Okay, well, we'll skip ahead here. All right, we got one more fight here. Make sure we're respectful of your time. And we'll take some notes. Reaper on the left. Good. Unfortunate, should be okay. Okay. Yeah, that gave me a heart attack right there. That was a really nice grab, because you're like, crap, we're not gonna be able to touch.
Yeah, it was overtime.
Huge grab though. Huge grab. Like, and I also like the fact that you were definitely clearly not going for Ryan, right? Like, you were like, there's got to be somebody there, right? It works. But again, the bubble. Look at the bubble.
Yep.
It's bubble then action. It needs to be action then bubble, right? Okay. Let's keep going here. Ooh, let's see this. Nice. But remember, open with right click. I actually don't. I understand why you chase this. I actually don't even hate it. What I do hate. Ah, man, that bubble and Reaper's tough. I understand what you're thinking, but like he ends up that he just isn't doing anything. And again, here it feels like you lose a lot of confidence in who you should be shooting. You know, like right now, I know you're worried about Ryan, but I think yeah. I was gonna say, look at this. Deal with that. No bubble for that. Should be okay. Oh no. Yeah, that's you guys are cooked. Okay. Let's take some notes here. Let's get some stuff to work on. Zarya. Specific things that you can practice. Let's start with mechanics. What are the 3 things that we talked about mostly?
Open with grenade.
Open with grenade for maximum DPS. Okay, what else? Well, let's put it this way. Maximum burst on squishy targets. Let's start with that. All right.
Yeah, open with
Okay.
grenade, beam, and then finishing off your clip with grenade.
Finishing clip with grenade. Low ammo, min max. Listen for audio cue. I mean, you're not going to be able to only do it off of audio cue, but that's like something to aim for. And then look for groups, right?
Yep.
With grenades. Work on one of those at a time. What about like team utility cooldowns, general game sense, gameplay? What are some other things we spoke about?
In terms of pushing or using bubble or what? What are you asking? So bubbling when I'm doing something and not before. Not bubbling early, and then pushing in when my team's doing something, or at least make sure I'm doing something so my team can push in.
Yes, and what about your target priority? At times it was quite good. At times you lost a lot of confidence. Yeah. And when you lost confidence, where did you fixate?
On the tank. So squishy first, and or the most dangerous character first, and then not switching up that target, or at least the closest that I'm able to do damage.
Yeah, of course. Like, you're obviously range limited for sure, and you are good at burning tanks. Zarya is one of the best tank busters, underrated tank buster. We'll put it that way, right? But if there is another target available, oftentimes that target will die faster, and or you'll get the cooldowns that you need to force so that your team can take space. So, okay. Any questions?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay.